This is, as the title says, keto chicken Alfredo. So I've got some Bertolli's Alfredo sauce. There's 14 grams of carbs in here total. And then broccoli, chicken, mushrooms. I think there's 4 or 5 grams of carbs in this onion. And broccoli and olives. Gonna add about a half pound of this and a quarter pound of that. If we start out anything here, almost always starts out with butter. So butter's good. Alright, so we got a little bit less than a pound of chicken. So pound of chicken, stick of butter. It looks like my oven's dead, so this is a problem. I'll be right back. I don't need that for this. So we're going to start this. Basically, I'm going to let the butter melt, and then I'm going to throw the chicken in, saute up the chicken. While I'm waiting for the butter to get hot, I'm going to finish chopping up these vegetables. Here is between this and what you would consider normal chicken Alfredo is I don't put any noodles in and I put eggplants in instead. Eggplant. So the first thing I'm going to do is throw in the chicken. So basically there's a stick of butter and most of a pound of chicken. So one of the secrets to this recipe is that yes, the chicken is basically boiling in butter. Makes nice juicy chicken. So, as you can see, the chicken's pretty well cooked. So I'm going to grab that out. As I said before, I have the butter, so now I'm going to saute my mushrooms. These are some thick, meaty mushrooms. Butter chicken tastes good. Let's see. So the first time I made this, I stripped these out into noodles because it was fine, it worked, but I realized that you might as well just cube them. It was a pain in the ass to cut them into noodles. But if you just cube these out, then accomplishes the same thing, replacing the noodles. It's a lot of mushrooms. I'm going to add some more butter. But the mushrooms are being greedy, which is fine. So one of the things that I'm trying to get better at is multitasking. I need to boil these, so I want a bowl. I need to get on the hair dye, because that takes time. You just need to sit. It's not. That could have been a disaster. So I like to use whipping cream to wash these out. So we got the butter and the Alfredo sauce in here and the mushrooms. I'm going to toss in the broccoli, some garlic. So this is when I add these things in. I'm going to go this time with basil, oregano, parsley, black pepper. That's a little slow. I'm gonna add those right now. Let's see. So I'm gonna add the olive water with it. Put a little bit of salt and oil in the boiling water. Keeps things from sticking, gives it a little flavor. I'm probably gonna pass on the onions today. It's looking a little busy. I was gonna test it out, but the way this tastes, probably not good for onions. So I'm gonna go get a couple things in this interlude, since it is a multitasking thing. Let's see here. I've got Salon Care Quick White Powder Lightener and 30 volume developer. You're boiling, so it's time to dump this in. This pot might not be able to hold the whole thing all at once, we'll see. Which is fine, because it only takes 2 or 3 minutes to boil this. One part of this to 2 parts of this. So I did my beard earlier today, and I did 8 grams of whitener and 17 grams of developer. There's a lot less hair here. I had way more enough. I'm gonna go 20 grams of this and 40 grams of this. Hopefully that's enough. That's 22. All right, 20 grams. And then that's for mistakes later. You want this to cook pretty hot for a while. It's got a lot of stuff to soften up. These little guys. Oh, it's still pretty hard. Boil more. These will soften up a little bit when you cook them up in there, but you don't want raw eggplant. You want them cooked a bit. So I'm gonna mix the first 20 grams. Stir it up a bit. Oh, I can't even. Now, I'm gonna mix the first 30 grams. And then I'm gonna add a few more, because I can't pour very well. Somebody told me to mix them in 2 stages. Don't just dump it all in one. And apparently it's a good thing to have this all mixed. All right. That's nice and squishy. Again, there's better tools for this, but I don't have them. So you cook with the tools that you got. Now I went to Iraq and Afghanistan, so I get to make stupid jokes like that about stupid army jokes. As it gets lower like this, I'm going to switch off to the cupped grabber. And I don't care about throwing a little bit of water in here. It's just going to boil off. Alright, some of these are going to be super soft. That's alright. Whenever you're making an omelet, sometimes you have to cook some eggplant too long. I get boiling water on my stomach, because that feels good. Alright, how are we doing here? So one of the fun things about dyeing out my beard was I got to apply this all up under here, and I'm going to have to check and see if the fumes on this are bad or not. It's too late now, but it smells. And there we go. Looks good. All right. So here we go. What I got left of there? Oh yeah, cheese. And at this point, I was planning on adding some water anyways, so. Another thing that you can add to this if it gets too thick is whipping cream, heavy whipping cream. It's always good stuff. Basically on this diet, on the keto diet that I'm on, I go through industrial quantities of whipping cream. One of the things I'll point out is that this is whipping cream. It tastes like whipping cream, everything about it. The only difference is I use erythritol instead of sugar. So basically this is just a big puddle of fat, which is what I use for energy anyway. My favorite is chopped bunch strawberries and just spoon up whipping cream. So I dumped all the chicken in there, so basically all the stuff's in there. You let it kind of cook down a little bit. So this is a nasty trick you can play on your kids. If you want your kids to eat something, give them a spoonful of this. It triggers their eating response because it's sweet, and then there's no sugar, there's no carbs, so they get super hungry, and I get hungry too, but if they're not in ketosis, it's nasty. They get really hungry, so if you want them to eat something, give them some of that. So I'm gonna let that cook down a bit. I don't actually think you're supposed to necessarily use this for this step, but I wouldn't mind keeping the hair out of my food. When you're doing this, I'm gonna probably move this over to the bathroom where I have a mirror. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit, let this continue to simmer. The only step that I have left at this point is to dump in cheese until it's at the appropriate consistency to eat. So I'm going to retire this, and you're gonna come with me. So you can see about what I'm gonna do here. There's all sorts of things that people do at this point. They get all crazy with brushes and layers and stuff, but the comments that I've seen are just get it in there. So my hair's been cleaned up. I didn't put any stuff in it. So all the directions says you get everything about an inch up first, and then you get stuff close to the scalp. So I'll do it that way, but basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go like this. I'm gonna smear it in my hair as fast as I can, and I'm just gonna get everything covered. And like I don't have any roots or anything, so we just go. So from all the estimates I got, people are saying about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm gonna be pretty thorough here. Mostly because I don't have a back mirror, which I probably should have set up, but that's all right. Looks like I made way too much, which is fine. I guess that's better than way too little. Basically what I'm making sure here is that I don't miss anything. But if I do miss anything, it looks like I have about half as much as I put in so far, so I will just take care of it at that point. So the only thing is here is no orange hair, right? And using a whitener and a 30 volume. From everything I've seen, I don't think orange hair is going to be my problem. I'm going to make sure I get all my neck hairs. Even though I should just have those stupid things cut off. So, one thing that I'll point out is I'm not really going for subtlety. And Yeah, I don't have gloves on, which is fine. It turns your fingertips a little white. That goes away. Did the same thing when I did my beard. Which, I got a decent silver color on my beard. I don't know if you can see it in this light, but put this little guy on there. But if you guys want to come in, I know it's a little early in the morning, but I'll be here in about 9 hours streaming the morning routine. Let's see how we're doing here. Alfredo. And that finger's not very useful. It tastes great. But we've got one more ingredient to add. And since I'm weighing my food, well, you know, I should have washed my hands better. I'm getting a little bit of stuff tastes interesting. So one thing you guys will get is total stream of consciousness, and it's really hard for me to get embarrassed about anything. All right, let's see. Half a pound is about 240 grams. There's 250 grams of Parmesan Romano cheese, about half a pound. And that all goes in there. And I'm gonna do about 100 grams of sharp cheddar cheese, because it tastes good too. And it adds an interesting taste. So one thing I'll point out is that my scalp is a little tingly right now. I wouldn't call it burning. Let's cook that in. And there you go. This is basically it. I'm gonna let it cook down, simmer pretty much all night. You don't have to add any noodles to this because you put in eggplants. And this entire bucket here has 20 grams of carbs. I'll be eating this all week. It's nice and stringy and cheesy. It's going to take a while for the cheese to cook in though. Turn it down. And the thing about this stuff is it's addictively good. It is a super good recipe. So when I post this up, I'm going to post the recipe, but I'm also going to boil this this stream down and post it on YouTube. This up. So yeah, this is basically, this channel is the morning routine and my workouts in the afternoon. That'll probably start next week, and me every now and then cooking some random keto shit. I weighed 163.5 pounds this morning. I haven't weighed that little since I was 25. That was 20 years ago. I have a little bit more time on this foolishness up here. So I'm going to throw in another bonus for y'all. I'm going to make myself some milk. So one of the points of my stream is to find interesting replacements for things that we take for granted, like milk. You can drink milk, but you have to count it. 1 cup of milk has 13 carbs. You want to try to stay somewhere between 20 and 50, depending on your insulin resistance and other factors. Personally, I stay under 10. I haven't been over 10 carbs this whole time. So this is unsweetened vanilla almond milk. By itself, it is kind of crap. Tastes like crap. It's not good. But I have a magical ingredient. If I can figure out where I put it. There it is. It's called whipping cream. So if you make whipping cream with erythritol and monk fruit sweetener, this solves a lot of problems. It's erythritol sweetener. This is basically sugar that they have fermented and turned into an alcohol-based version of it. There's also erythritol sweetener with monk fruit added, and it's a confectionery sugar. It's what I usually use, but I used this stuff this time, and this, I had to order some. It's on its way here. Oh, what color am I doing? I'm gonna do silver, icy white. So I'll probably be doing this in about 30 minutes, or maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But it's basically icy white ion. It's close to what I did with my beard. I'll give you guys a close-up of that. A cup of almond milk, and you're gonna see me dumping in whipped cream. This mixture is about 1-to-1. It's kind of ridiculous, but you can eat it as a meal. Needs more whipped cream. And check and make sure my hair isn't falling out. But one of the things you're gonna see on my cooking streams and on all of these things in general is that I do stuff to taste. I tell you guys generally what I put in, but as soon as that cooks down a bit, I'm gonna go taste it. You don't need milk. This is way better. It tastes better than milk. It's just better than milk. It's better for you than milk. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm adding here. So when I do these things, I do it to taste. Let's see. I'd almost say that needs some more cheese. And it needs a touch of salt. Probably needs more chicken, but I don't have any more chicken. So again, it's cooking to taste. You kind of get used to how things taste and what adding certain things does. I'm at 14 minutes. So it's time to go check the hair. All right, let's see how we've done. That does look suspiciously like whipped cream, but I won't make that mistake. Ooh. Oh no. Let's see here. Looks kind of yellowish on the ends, or orangish. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer, just to make sure. Hopefully all my hair doesn't fall out. My guess is it's probably good, but I think the only worst thing that could happen here is that I end up with slight orange hair and I have to do it again, so I'm going to try to avoid that. So I'm going to go clean up for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to wash this out and have the great reveal. And then try to decide if I'm sunburned from the tanning booth that I hit this afternoon, or if that stuff burned my hair, burned my skin, which could be either way. And I gotta put this back on. Sure. This is supposed to heat up your hair too, or something. For me, it's mostly keeping the hair out of my food when I'm cooking. All right, so we're back here. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit. Let's see. I'm gonna add some bulletproof to this. That's better. All right. That's one thing about losing all the feeling in your fingers as far as heat and cold goes. It's a lot easier to taste the food. So I'm gonna let this cook down tonight. I'm gonna add a little layer of water, cook it at the lowest temperature, pretty much all night, have it little simmer, let everything cook together, and then I'm gonna throw it in the refrigerator and eat it all week. I'm gonna go, this is basically done, probably a little late. I'm probably gonna do the color tomorrow. So let's retire to the bathroom. All right, it's been plenty of time. This is where I had the Leroy Jenkins soundtrack. don't have handfuls of hair falling off. So, all right, it looks like it did pretty well. Looks like I have, I don't know if that's orange at the top or not, but I think that had the intended effect. As it dries out, it looks like it is pretty blonde. So I think I succeeded at that part. Tomorrow I'm going to do the silver. I think that's success, and chat. Thank you. It's been an eventful evening. See you guys next time. So the hair is gold-ish, I would say. So here's the color I just mixed up. And again, this is supposed to be icy white. We'll see how this turns out. I know there's other precautions that you can take that most people usually take, or if you do this, people usually use foils and brushes and paint stuff. The technique that I used for lightning, I'm going to use that again. It worked really well. So again, I'm trying to start on the long parts. I'm getting a little close to the scalp, but that's okay. Because unlike most people, it's going to take me about a minute or 2 minutes to get this fully loaded in. So I'm trying to keep this off my scalp, but I failed right here. This stuff I've noticed does cause some burning. I'd say it's a light tingle, but I'd rather have it tingly and burny than have some yellow hair left over. I'm just gonna put it that way. Make sure I get all of these little things. I'm going to try to overlap. I don't think it's going to get more silver if I put it in again on my beard. At least that seems unlikely. Not how it's described, how this stuff works out. That little patch that stayed gold. And it seems like if I stand it up and then smear it down, it'll make sure that it's coated. And it doesn't seem like there's any reason to leave any extra in here. Maybe a little bit in case I miss a spot, but kind of the whole point of this technique is to make sure I don't miss any spots. Pretty darn sure I didn't miss any. 20 grams probably would have been about right, but... And we'll see how many different angles I can hit the hair at. I'm not sure how much heat this thing actually traps, but the beard hair thing is more for fun. I was planning on shaving it off eventually anyway. So now my hands are turning purple. I have a little bit of extra in here just in case I missed something. Seems unlikely though. I'm gonna go mark time. Stream is a finish up of last night. I cooked the chicken Alfredo and started dyeing my hair last night. And so this is kind of, this morning after it cooked down, I added some more whipped cream, heavy whipping cream. And now it's kind of the big reveal for that. So that's so good. There's going to be a video up on YouTube on the Incremental Monster channel on how to cook that. The entire thing has 14 grams of carbs. And I'll weigh it out, but my guess is there's about 2 pounds of food there. Emphasize when you're doing this stuff, when you're living like this, keep your areas clean, because now I can start doing the next project. I don't have things piling up on each other and making a mess. I'm gonna wash out my hair, and this will be the end of the stream. And the kitchen sink is actually fairly convenient for this. So I actually don't have a mirror, so you guys get to see it before I do. I don't know. Looks silvery gray. I don't know. We'll see. I'll go check a mirror pretty soon, but looks like I did okay. It probably helps it look better. All right. Thank you guys. And it's time for me to go to work. So have a good day. Plan it out. And every day we're all going to get a little bit better together. I need to work on all my catch lines. See y'all.